Today, I want to cover what is by far the best Strand Hunter build for endgame level content in Destiny 2. This build will allow you to suspend targets for a long time, allowing you to reposition, reload, or do whatever you need to do to survive. We're going to cover what you need for this build, the best weapons and mods for this build, and the combat flow. With that being said, I'm SniperKH, and let's dive into it. Let's start with how to set this build up. To start off, you will absolutely need the Strand subclass and 6th Coyote exotic chest piece. If you don't have either or, then be sure to get them, otherwise you will not be able to use this build efficiently. The 6th Coyote will make it so that you can get a second dodge ability, and as you'll see when we dive into the subclass setup, our dodges will suspend targets. So in reality, we get 2 suspends. Speaking of the build, you'll want to copy the build layout on screen now, as the setup is what we're going to be using with this build. Having shackle grenades will grant us another way of suspending targets, and having the Widow's Soak aspect will grant you a second shackle grenade. In case you haven't been keeping track, that means you will be able to have 2 suspend dodges and 2 suspend grenades, for a total of 4 ways to suspend your targets. It's also important to have Thread of Wisdom on, but we'll explain more why in just a moment. For now, let's discuss what weapons and mods you can pair best with this build. Let's dive into weapons and mods. I wouldn't say that there are any specific weapons you have to use for this build, but I'd recommend using precision weapons to take advantage of Thread of Wisdom. Some weapons I'd recommend are Rufus's Fury, Taraxipos, hand cannons, and even the Navigator exotic trace rifle. These were some of the more fun weapons to use with this build, or are the weapons I would assume would do well with this build. For mods, you'll absolutely want to focus on getting your grenade and class ability back as soon as possible. This will mean that you'll want to run mods like Insulation on your boots and Innervation on your boots, as if you officially use Thread of Wisdom, you'll be generating a lot of orbs. Additionally, you could run Siphon mods that match the element of your weapons, and Surge mods for additional damage with your weapons, but those are completely optional. Next up, let's cover the combat flow of this build. For the combat flow, it's similar to the Titan Suspend build I made a video on a few months back. You'll want to engage in a fight by doing your Suspend Dive ability that the Hunter has. This will suspend enemies close by and will begin the suspend chain. Next up, you'll want to cycle between your grenades and class abilities to ensure your target stays suspended. I'd open with the class ability, then use my grenade, then use my class ability again, then use my grenade again, and then continue that cycle until the enemy or group of adds were dead. As you're defeating the suspended targets, make sure you defeat them using precision final blows to make orbs to get your abilities back faster, as at the end of the day, your abilities are all that matter with this build. Otherwise, that's the gist of the build. I ran this build in various activities such as the Avalon mission, in the Deep Dive missions, and in the Disgraced Grandmaster Nightfall, and this build exceeded all of my expectations, and has made me crown this as the best in-game PvE Hunter build. Overall, this Strand Hunter build is insanely strong for endgame activities. Being able to infinitely suspend targets, which renders your foes as useless, has proven to be valuable in higher end content, and this is certainly a build that hunters should be using in that higher end content. Well, that'll wrap up this video. If you found it helpful, a like rating would be greatly appreciated. Consider subscribing to the channel for more Destiny 2 content dropping weekly. Be sure to stop by the streams that happen right here on YouTube, where I run various activities in Destiny and would love to help viewers with whatever they need to get done in Destiny. Finally, check out my other social media platforms, all linked in the description below. With that being said, I'm SniperKH, and I'm out. Good luck with gaming.